A warm good morning to you all. Today we are here in the Zoom meeting to attend the webinar on Deep Learning for Natural Language Processing, jointly organized by Department of Electronics, UC College, Aluva, and Department of Electronics, MES College, Maramballi. Before we begin the technical session, let me invite Dr. Jasmine PM, Head Department of Electronics, MES College, Maramballi, to welcome you all. Miss, please. Jasmine, Miss, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I'm hearing. I'm entering to the duty. Good morning, one and all. Respected Principal of MES College, Maramballi, Dr. A. Biju, Principal UC College, Aluva, Dr. David Sach Matthew, Mr. Agil TV, Head Department of Electronics, UC College, and Coordinator of the webinar, Ms. Chika K. Gangadharan, Coordinator and Assistant Professor of MES College, Maramballi, today's guest of honor and our resource person, Dr. Shine K. George, dear colleagues, students, and participants from various colleges. It gives me immense pleasure that the Department of Electronics of MES College, Maramballi, and Department of Electronics and Computer Maintenance of UC College, Aluva, jointly organize a webinar during this COVID time. Since the inception of Department of Electronics of MES College, Maramballi in 1995, we have associations with universities like CUSAT and organizations like IET, EMC, etc. But till this time, we don't have any organization with a peer college like UC. And now we are joining hands with UC College Aluva, which is established in the year 1921. And special thanks are due to Mr. Agil TV for making this association. And with this, I'm entering into my duty. I'm extremely happy to welcome our principal, Dr. A. Biju, who is the pillar of support and in all our ventures, and Dr. David Sachmathu, principal of UC College, Aluva, for all the supports they have rendered towards this seminar or webinar. And due to other meetings, they are not present. In the absence, I am welcoming them. And now let me welcome the Head Department of Electronics, UC College, and coordinator of the webinar, Mr. Agil TV, to this meeting. And today I am delighted to have an eminent personality, Dr. Shine K. George, Associate Professor, Department of Master of Computer Applications, UC College, as our resource person. The field of natural language processing is one of the most important and useful application areas of artificial intelligence. Natural language processing is undergoing rapid evolution as new methods and toolsets converge with an ever-expanding availability of data. In this webinar, you will explore the fundamental concepts of NLP, natural language processing, and its role in current and emerging technologies. On behalf of the Department of Electronics of both MES College Maramballi and UC College Aluva, I welcome Dr. Shine K. George to this program. Now I am pleased to welcome all my colleagues, students, and fellow participants to this program. Once again, I welcome all the participants to this program. Thank you. Over to Chika.
Now, let me call upon Mr. Agil TV, Head Department of Electronics and the coordinator of this webinar, to introduce the resource person. Agil sir,
Good morning
please.
to all. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our resource person, Dr. Shine K. George. Dr. Shine K. George received his master degree in computer application from Bharathiar University and PhD from Cochin University of Science and Technology. Currently, he is working as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Application, Union Christian College, Aluva. He also has special interest in the field of journalism and how the experience in reporting field. He is a focused academician with meticulous interest in ontology, machine learning, and deep learning. Now I invite Dr. Shine K. George to this webinar. So now we start the program.
Can you see the PPT?
Yes.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. Okay, respected principals of respective colleges, Dr. Jasmine, Professor Chida, Professor Akhil, Professor Jisha, I think she joined us participant. She's working in SEMS College, Kalamasheri. First of all, thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to have a interaction with the electronic students of MES College, Marambali, as well as CME, UC College. I think there are around 55 to 60 students there now actively participating in this webinar. I think Akhil told me that it will come around 100. That's a good number in this scenario. I think all are safe now, all are good in health now. The topic I chose for this webinar is deep learning for natural language processing. Maybe you may be not familiar. It's not a popular word, deep learning as well as natural language processing, but you may be familiar with artificial intelligence. At the outset, I can say that these deep learning, natural language processing are subfields of artificial intelligence. Why I chose this topic for today's webinar is I think the targeted students are good in both in electronics as well as in computer science. I think this is an area where they can excel. They can study more or they can explore. So I designed this webinar in a way that it's not much more technical. I'm not going to the more technical parts of deep learning concept and natural language processing. I just introduce what is natural language processing and what is deep learning. Then I will explain some of the use cases where deep learning can be used in natural language processing. Then finally, I'll conclude what is the next step to the aspirants to learn more about deep learning aspects. Yeah, you can see 4 boxes here. These are 4 thoughts of schools about artificial intelligence. In 50s, the artificial intelligence thought was like this: the machine should think like human. Then the second thought is the machine should act like human. In 90s, we defined the artificial intelligence as the machine should think rationally, logically. Now, the popular thought about artificial intelligence is the machine should act rationally to achieve a goal based on the learning. So that's the popular definition given for artificial intelligence in this decade. So as you know, natural language means the way we humans communicate with each other. Maybe it can be a speech or text. At the outset, we can say that it's very confusing, the natural language. Now, I think around 60 people are participating in this webinar. We are talking in a different slangs, we are talking in a different styles, different gestures. Malayalam is used in different ways across Kerala itself. So, natural language itself is very confusing. So the study of language is sometimes referred as linguistics. We can see that in some literature courses, linguistics is an integral part, where they will study about, the people will study about the grammar of the language, semantics of the language, phonetics. That we refer as classical linguistics. Here we are talking about a computational linguistics. That is, we are trying to manipulate natural language using computer. I think the computational linguistic or natural language processing can be referred as a computational manipulation of natural language. Anything what we manipulate using computer can be natural language processing. See, the base of natural language processing is based on statistical methods. Some of the probability distributions, probability theories are used extensively in natural language processing. Some natural language algorithms take human speech as input, human text as input, Some natural language processing tools output the natural languages text. So anything cover anything, any kind of computation manipulation of natural language can be referred as natural language processing. So in a simple way, we can say that any manipulation using computer can be natural language processing. So as I said, artificial intelligence, we try to make machines more intelligent or act more intelligent. Machine learning is a part of subfield of artificial intelligence. So here we are trying to make the machine to learn without doing much programs. We are trying to make the machine to learn from the experience. In deep learning, what we do is machine itself is learning. So automatic learning is introduced in deep learning. So the artificial intelligence thought is started in 1950s. In 1990s, machine learning was popular. Now it's a time for deep learning. So what is machine learning? So I will explain it in a simple way. There are three terms involved in learning. One is experience. It's denoted as E. Task, denoted as T, and the performance P. So if a program or a machine is set to learn, that means the way the program is doing a task T improves with the experience C. That means we are giving some experience. We are providing the machine some past information or the scenario. The machine tries to learn from the scenario and perform a job. That is basically is the process of learning. So I will explain with an example. So if we are doing a program to predict traffic pattern at Alwa, we are trying to predict the traffic pattern at peak times in Alwa. So what we do is we will give data about past traffic patterns. That is experience. So maybe about the 1 year data about the traffic patterns in Alwa. The accuracy of the prediction will solely depend on the data set, the experience. That is the past data about the traffic. So if machine learns effectively from the past traffic data, then the prediction will be more accurate. If it is not learning properly from the past traffic data, the accuracy will be less. That is the meaning. One of the drawback of machine learning is, in machine learning, we need to provide features explicitly. That is, features that will play an important role in predicting the outcome. In the previous example, the traffic pattern. What are the features that will influence the traffic? Those features has to be explicitly given by the programmer in the case of machine learning algorithm. We need to give the features explicitly. That is one of the drawback of machine learning. The problem is if we are choosing a wrong feature, then the result will be poor. So selecting the feature is an important thing in the outcome. The accuracy improves when we select the right feature. So explicitly providing the features is a drawback of machine learning. Another drawback of machine learning is it is not that much good in high dimension data, high volume of data. If the data has more inputs or more outputs, then the machine learning algorithms are not that much effective in that scenario. These are the two drawbacks of machine learning. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning. In deep learning, the advantage is machine or the deep learning algorithm perform automatic feature extraction from the raw data. So it learns from the raw data automatically. There is no need to provide explicit features. The machine itself learn or extract the features from the raw data. That is the advantage of deep learning. How it happens is it uses multi-layers of artificial neural networks. Multi-layers of artificial neural networks. So the simplest definition about artificial neural networks is it tries to mimic the working of human brain. That's the simplest definition we can give for artificial neural network. It tries to mimic the human brain. So you take an example of 1-year boy. So the 1-year boy can recognize his parents' face. So how the baby recognizes it? The baby extracts the features from the face of parent and it checks with the past experience. And it finds that this is my parent, this is my mother, this is my father. The 1-year-old baby recognizes the voice of his parent. That is also in the same way. So even a supercomputer may not do that properly. So that is the strength, that is where human brains work. It's a connected neurons. So we are trying to mimic the working of human brains in artificial neural networks. So we use the extensive neurons, extensive layer of neurons in deep learning. What is the purpose? Is the purpose of using multi-layer neural network is to learn the features automatically. So that is a basic strength of deep learning. I think this slide will give you a clear picture about what is machine learning and what is deep learning. Suppose we are doing a program to identify a vehicle, whether it is a car or not. If you are using machine learning, we need to give features explicitly to identify a vehicle as car. Classification, whether it's a car or another vehicle, that will be done by the machine. But in the case of deep learning, the feature extraction plus classification will be done by the deep learning algorithm. So I think it's clear. In machine learning, features has to be given explicitly. In deep learning, there is no need to give features explicitly. It will be automatically identified by the deep learning algorithms and it will classify whether it is car or not. And you can see from the diagram, you can see from the graph that when we have huge volume of data, deep learning algorithms, when we have huge amount of data, the deep learning algorithm works well. So if you have high volume of data available, the deep learning algorithm performs well. It's natural because when more data is available, more neurons will be deployed for learning purpose. So the deep learning algorithm naturally will give you a good performance. So what is the promise of deep learning for natural languages? Some of the traditional challenging natural language processing problems are there. This deep learning aspect is providing a very good results on some natural problems in natural language processing. So I'll explain some of the application areas where deep learning is working, is giving a tremendous performance. One is machine translation. That is, you can see in online that there is a lot of tools which is giving translation from English to French, French to English, German to French. This translation can be effectively done by NLP tools using deep learning. Next is text generation. You can create stories, you can create text by the machine itself using deep learning. Text summarization, personalized content generation, headlines can be generated, images can be captioned, videos by analyzing the videos, caption can be given for a video, question answer generation, chatbot, it's very popular chatbots, speech recognition, dialogue generation. Another important area is fake news detection, whether a news is fake or not. So these are some of the areas where deep learning gives you a very good results. I don't know how much of you are familiar with the Friends series. It is a very good international series which was happened in 90s in TV. It was very popular. Same like our serials in our channels now. So there was a study in 2014 about the Friends series script. What some of the natural language processing scientists did is they feed all the scripts of this Friends series to the machine and make the machine to learn from the scripts. What was output is new script for the new episodes. That means new scripts for the new episodes is generated by the machine. I mean, it's possible using deep learning and natural language processing. These are some of the output of that new scripts. You can see from the screen that it looked like a script. I'm not sure that it's logically it works, but you can see that it's just like a script at least. Maybe in the future years you can have meaningful scripts for the machine itself. Karpathy is a pioneer in deep learning works. He is associated with Stanford University. What he did is in 2014, he fed all Shakespeare novels to the machine. Sorry, the machine started to produce Shakespearean style novels. Right, machine started to give Shakespearean style novels. These are some of the new trends in this field. Some scientists are trying to find lead character in Friends series using the machine. New relationship lessons from Friends series. Some people are trying to make poetry machines. Like we know some comic characters like Kabish, Mayavi. If you give all details about Mayavi and Kabish, the machine started to give you poems based on Mayavi or Kabish. Rap lyrics, music, fiction, these are all the new trends which is happening in this literary field. See, these are examples of machine generated, sorry, machine generated captions. The first picture you can see that a cute little dog sitting in a hard drawn on a sandy beach. So this caption is generated by the machine using the deep learning algorithms. See the second picture, a dog walking next to a little dog on top of a beach. So it is generated by the machine. See, I'm talking it in a simple way, but it involves high level of computation. See, a machine can classify videos. The example you can see, it classifies it's a basketball, it's a graduation ceremony. The machine can also give captions for a video. A woman is playing frisbee with a black dog on the grass. This caption is generated by the machine. So it's possible to generate video captions. Yeah, the machine can generate headlines for a text. Actually, you can notice that the topic of our webinar is deep learning for natural language processing. So what I did is I gave a summary of my talk to a NLP tool, natural language processing tool. So I gave a summary of my talk. So these are the headlines provided by that NLP tool. Deep learning for natural language processing for better and faster knowledge. What you need to know on deep learning for natural language processing. These are some of the headlines generated by the machine itself. Is deep learning for natural language processing worthless? So from the summary, which I provided, the NLP tool, natural language processing software, generates the headlines. You can see that some of them are very significant headlines. Yeah, this is a tool used by BBC in the last election. In UK, there are around 650 assemblies are there. So as in India, there are 542, 543 assemblies are there. So when in a polling day or in a result day, so there will be news are coming from each assembly, each constituency. So doing a personalized news for each assembly is not that much possible. It's a complex thing. So there will be only few manual manpower. So BBC used a natural language processing tool, ARIA, ARRIA. Then they created a framework where all 650 news will be generated instantly, simultaneously. So there are some manual intervention is there, but still using a natural language generation tool, BBC is used successfully in the last election. This is one of the work I did in my PhD, where we are giving some keywords to the machine. Machine provides you a story. So the use case is in the last World Cup, where France player Mbappe was compared with Messi. Messi and Mbappe are all very skillful people, or they compared with Messi. So if you want to do a story based on that, framework for it. So I tried this framework in a data set, experience set, BBC Tools data set, and it was very successful. I think very successful in the sense 50% successful. And these deep learning applications can be extended to personalized recommendations. That means if you want to see, there are huge volume of data available. We need something personal for us. See, if you want to know only thing about COVID, then you can personalize it. If you want to see a cricket where Virat Kohli is playing, so we should get that itself. So that is personalized recommendation. These deep learning techniques, deep learning applications can be used for personalized recommendations. These are some of the tools readily available now in the world, which is used for personalized content generation. The Heliograph is a tool which is used by Washington Post for their journalistic activities. Bertie is a tool. So one interesting tool I can say is Quackbot, which is used by Los Angeles Times. What it do is, if there is an earthquake happens above a certain size of threshold, Quackbot automatically do a story based on that. Very interesting. So if an earthquake happens above a size of threshold, above 6 or above, then the Quackbot tool automatically collect information about that. Is it okay?
Okay, now start.
Can I start? Yeah.
Okay.
So welcome
Okay,
back
sir.
to the session. Yeah, I was talking about the different tools where deep learning was is using. So different tools are there for personalized content generation. I talked about a tool which was used by Washington Post, that is Heliograph. Bertie is a tool. It provides trending topics. The tool is developed by Forbes. And I was talking about Quackbot. I was too much interested in that tool because, see, it's getting information from the US Geological Survey about earthquake above a certain size threshold. Then it's automatically from that information, it creates a news. That's interesting. So another tool is ReporterMate, which is used by Guardian Australia. Yeah, drone war zone reporter by Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera uses a drone and some deep learning logic to report from VAR side, first-hand report from VAR. BBC's Juicer, Reuters is using a tool, New York Times. So there are plenty of tools where personalized content generation is available and which are using deep learning techniques, which are using natural language processing tools. So see, I'm simplifying the matters. I'm just showing that these are some examples where this deep learning, natural language processing is using. But the computation is very complex. That's another part. I'm just trying to say that there are plenty of fields where these concepts are used. Another use case is speech recognition. So as we all have smartphones and laptops which has speech recognition, and Microsoft Windows has Cortana. It's a speech recognition virtual assistant tool. Apple has Siri. You may be familiar with Alexa. When you go to some home where home automation is done, the homeowner will ask the music system to Alexa, please play a song of Mohanlal. So then Alexa is playing a song. Then ask to the TV, please play a movie of Suresh Gopi. Then Alexa is playing the movie. Then sometimes Alexa can be used for purchasing pizza, or ordering food, for sports updates, for business updates, weather updates. Alexa can give you traffic updates. If you want to go to some place, if you want to go to Ernakulam, then ask Alexa, what is the position in Ernakulam now? What is the traffic there? And Alexa will give. All is natural language processing. It's part of speech recognition. So Alexa is a popular tool. Yeah, another important field is fake news. Disinformation. You can imagine how much information is coming in a 24/7 way. There are plenty of news channels which is working in 24/7. There are plenty of newspapers are there. There are plenty of online websites are there. Social media platforms are there. A lot of information data is coming. Which one is original? Which one is fake? To identify it, you should have some tool. See, you cannot identify yourself what is good, what is wrong. So you require some automated tool to identify whether that information is fake or not. See, this is an example which comes in the Times of India website. You can see that Akshay Kumar is waving a flag. The fake news was like this. Akshay Kumar is waving a flag. The actor is sided with the ABVP in the last JNU issue. But actually, this picture was taken in January 2018 when Akshay had flagged off a women marathon at Delhi University. But the picture was spread like this. The picture was circulated like this, that Akshay Kumar is part of ABVP. Then this is another thing which was circulated. The claim was that Modi recently performed Gun Puja at the RSS headquarters. Actually, these photos were clicked on 2009 and 2013 when Modi performed Shastra Puja at his residence in the presence of police on the occasion of Vijayadashmi. So, see the gravity of fake news in our country. The Prime Minister is not an exception here. He's also become a part of it. So the gravity is high. It's a challenging issue in the Indian scenario. BBC did a study based on this. In 2017 and 18, there were at least 31 murders happened, which was triggered by fake information, disinformation on social media platforms. Because of the fake news, disinformation, murders happening. One of the challenges in Indian scenario is there are many regional languages in India. One information shared in one language with the right intention may become false in another language. We can know that. We will study the bad words in another language first. So some local words maybe have different meaning in another language. So these all are different challenges in this field. So the primary distributor of fake news in India is WhatsApp. We have almost 400 million users in India. WhatsApp has 400 million users. In elections, political parties spread, circulate fake information as part of their election campaign. So identifying the information is correct or not, we require some natural language processing tools. We have some natural language processing tools, but still there are a lot to improve. There are plenty to improve. There are a lot of limitations for these fake news detection tools. So it's an area for research also. So if you find that these examples are fascinating, these examples are very interesting, I think you can start with learning Python. Python language is a natural choice to do something in natural language processing. There are plenty of tutorials available in the net. There are online courses are available. You can try it. There is no need to have a Python installed in your machine itself. There are plenty of cloud solutions are available where you can try it in online itself. There are online tutorials. There are online cloud solutions where you can try your language expertise. Then you should have thorough knowledge in linear algebra and statistical methods, and try to understand what is neural network. You will find some jargons like convolutional neural network, recurrent neural network, generative adversarial network. These are all networks of neurons. We are trying to mimic the human brain activities. So how these models are formed, that's another thing we have to have a good look at. Another is Keras framework. There are plenty of frameworks available where we can do deep learning programs, but Keras is most simple and popular one. There is no need to know the underlying technologies and all. There are some underlying technologies like CUDA, TensorFlow. Keras gives you a sophisticated situation. You can just program it. That's it. So Keras is also an open source one, and the prerequisite for all these things is hardware. I think hardware is a challenge nowadays also for doing deep learning programs, because we require high capacity machines for doing deep learning applications. We need high level of computation. You can understand that the huge volume of data is available. From the huge volume of data, how can we identify the pattern? How can we identify the learning parameters? So you require high level of computation there. Some good institutions will have their own machines. You may be, sorry. You may be familiar with the GPU machines, graphical processing unit machines, GPU. High-end machines which uses NVIDIA graphics cards. I think for a normal NVIDIA graphics card, I think 4.5 lakhs is required. I saw one GPU machine in Kochi University. The total cost was around 30 lakhs. So we require high-end machines, which is now available in only IITs and very high recognized machines or recognized universities. But there is an alternative for it. You can go for cloud solutions. There are readily usable cloud solutions are there, which provides deep learning environment. We can do programming in cloud. One of the popular one is AWS. Amazon is providing cloud solutions for doing deep learning programs. See, here when we do deep learning programs, we should have a thorough understanding of the hardware, because we are doing some parallel processing. That's why I told you the people who are having electronics background can be very handy in this deep learning environment, because computer architecture is an important thing here. Parallelly, how can we process data here? Because there are high memories, high level of memory is required. So how can we use these memories in batches? How can we process data in batches? So these are some of the areas we can look forward to. So one of the prerequisites for doing deep learning programs is hardware. You can have direct access with the GPU machines, but there are limited copies here. Now, some good universities are having this hardware, but cloud is a good solution because I think for 64 GB cloud solution, 64 GB RAM cloud solution, I think for 1 hour, I think $0.99 is required. After doing after you just testing the program, you can run this program in a cloud solution. It will take around 3 to 4 days for running sometimes. It depends upon the volume of data you are processing. Sometimes it will take 1 month to give you a result. For providing Shakespeare solutions, you should have wait for at least 15 days to get a Shakespearean novel from the machine. But it's an interesting field. It's going to be the next generation solution in the computer field. You will use not only in deep learning scenario, in data science scenario, data science analytics, data analytics scenario. In all cases, you will use these type of technologies. So this next generation technology, you can try this one. You can learn it in online. You can try some online courses in TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a part of this thing. TensorFlow, there is some online courses, and your department can, electronics department can have a 1 day or 2 day workshop in TensorFlow in Keras framework. How to do simple deep learning programs, how to do some simple machine learning programs. You can have a 1 day or 2 day workshops on that subject. I found an interesting book about this subject, deep learning for natural language processing. I mean, this is not a book for first level learner. I think you should have minimum knowledge about Python, minimum knowledge about machine learning and deep learning. If you have this minimum stuff, you can try this book. It's online copies available. You can download, just download the PDF. To conclude, I think human-computer interaction is going to be a good field to look at. There are plenty of opportunities available. How to use the human-computer interaction. Definitely, artificial intelligence is going to be the next generation solution. We know that it started from 1950s. Machine learning happened in the 90s. Deep learning. Now the time for reinforcement learning is going to happen. Reinforcement learning. So it's another idea. So thank you for the opportunity. This is the time for the questions. If you have any questions, any queries regarding these subjects, you can ask them.
Sir, I have one doubt. Am I
Okay.
audible, sir?
Yeah, I am audible.
I'm not at all familiar with this subject. I'm new to this subject. Sir, you said you have given the summary of your presentation and you got the headlines. And this is it developed by you or it is publicly available, this headline generation software like that?
It's publicly available. The publicly available tool has some limitations. Scientists or researchers are working on this tool again and again. There are plenty of solutions available online. There's something in research also. It's not developed by me. It's available publicly.
Okay. Can you name one or two sites, sir?
No, you can just search in the Google for headline generation deep learning applications. You will find it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No questions? Yeah, one question from Martin George. Is asking, is there any tools available? Is there any NLP tools available in Malayalam? Yeah, there are some. Malayalam computing is getting popular nowadays. In Kusad, I think the language computing lab is there. A lot of applications are developing in Malayalam computing. One of the applications is we see if we have some online application in Malayalam. You can fill it in Malayalam itself by our local language. If you speak, see, Pere, Dr. Shine, if you speak like that, it will be filled in that text box. So like a lot of applications are coming. I think around 20 to 25 people are working. 25 people are working on Malayalam computing in Cochin University itself. Some works are going on in Sanskrit computing. So a lot of local language works are going on, but the limitation is, see, in Malayalam itself, there are different slangs. We have different alphabets are there. So we are trying to make the machine to learn Malayalam. Okay. So we are trying to make the machine to learn Malayalam. So we need to give some case studies for that. So it's quite difficult to make a lot of case studies, lot of data sets for learning. So if you give more data, the result will be more good. So giving more data to the machine itself is a huge burden. So that's a barrier in Malayalam computing, Malayalam NLP tools. Another text analytics is a part of NLP. NLP, we can broadly say that this question from Julie Sajid. See, NLP, we can see any computational manipulation of language, natural language is NLP. In text analytics, we are trying, what we do is, if we are doing text analytics in English, we are trying to grab the meaning of that sentence. Okay. So if you give a text and if you want to know that what is the sentiments of that text, whether it's a happy sentiment, whether it's sad sentiment. So it's an area called sentiment analysis. So it's a text analytics. That's also a part of NLP. It's also a part of NLP. I think I answered the question to Julie Sajid. Rasina and Aushad asked, how can we identify which neural network is useful for our application? CNN, RN, or hybrid? Yeah, that's very interesting question. See, CNN means convolutional neural network. RNN means recurrent neural network. We can have hybrid, that is generative adversarial network. We can have one CNN network, one RNN network. But which one is suitable for me? Which one is suitable for my application? See, generally we can speak CNN is good in image captioning and all. For text generation thing, RNN is good. There is a flavor of RNN which is called LSTM, long short time memory, LSTM. So that's a variant of recurrent neural network which is good for text generation. GAN, both image for image purpose also we can use, video purpose we can use, text purpose yet to be discovered. Which one is good for me? We can take this as a basic. For image related thing, you can go for CNN. Text related thing, you can go for LSTM. But it differs with each case. That we have to experiment it. I think I answered to Rasina and Aushad's question. Anything else? See, the first slides I think are friend series. To think about a serial in a Malayalam channel. So if you feed all the scripts of that serial, and after that, next episode script is generating by the machine, is tremendous. The machine is doing a tremendous job. And some see, Shakespearean novel, like we can create a Shakespearean style by a machine. That means that's a great work. There are plenty of variations can happen in the future. I think the Shakespearean and Friends series was happened in 2012. I'm talking about this thing in after 8 years now. The Shakespearean research was conducted in 2012 or 13. No question. You can see just that's why I stopped. I cut short my presentation. I'm giving more time for questions because there will be a lot of questions regarding this because these are something which is done by the machine. See, we are not doing manually. We are doing see image caption. From giving that image, machine is generating that caption. So there are a lot of fascinating thing in that research. So if you have some interest in research or trying to develop, see one of the person who is contributing a lot to Keras framework is a Malayali. His name is Faris Rahman. He's a BTech dropout in CUSAT. He's not completed BTech. He's a BTech dropout. His name is Faris Rahman. He's contributing a lot in Keras framework. You can search in GitHub or something, some sites you can search. You can see that Faris is giving a lot of contributions to the Keras framework, and a lot of students are getting money by doing programs in deep learning because in research area, if you take any research area, nowadays the guys are trying to do something with machine learning. When you start with some electronic research also, at last the guide will ask, can you connect it with some machine learning techniques? Can you do some machine learning advancement in that research? So sometimes these researchers come to the students, BTech students or other students, to ask whether they can develop a tool. Actually, they need a tool to experiment it. So a lot of students are getting huge money. I mean, this field is very new, so predicting how much it costs is very difficult because program will not be very lengthy. There will be only 20 to 25 lines of program will be there for creating Shakespearean novel. But writing that 25 lines of code itself is a huge task. And in this field, there is another area where data cleaning is required. So I talked about we require a lot of data, but when we get the data, there will be some noisy data, some commas, some not meaningful words. So you have to clean that things. For cleaning, there is some packages called pandas in Python packages, pandas. So for using that automatic package, you can clean it. The automatic cleaning may not be possible in some cases, so manually you have to clean it. So data cleaning, data cleansing is some area where we can look forward to. That's an area where we can have no tools for cleaning. There is no good tool to test the result. If I generated some text using machine, suppose I generated a text, this is fine. What is the quality of that text? That should be tested. How will we test? There is no proven testing method is there for testing the quality of machine generated text. I mean, the proven testing methods are MATLAB, SPSS, something like that. There is no tool there in MATLAB or SPSS or R computing. There should be some new tools. Some tools are now developing blue BLEU, ROG for testing. There are plenty of options for new tools in testing the machine generated text. One question. Can you name some tools to do NLP? I think Ashwin Shitu is asked this question. I think you just start with the basics. What is natural language processing? Then try to learn about what is natural language generation. Okay. After that, this presentation itself, I have given a lot of tools where NLP is used. So you can use this presentation there where I mentioned, I think 10 to 15 tools, NLP tools. You can try that in the net. There are some tools, I think one site is, I forgot that name, where you can check whether a news is fake or not. It will tell confidently, yeah, this news is correct. Truthfulness we can check. That's also a solution, natural language processing solution. Julie is asked, it is simple and good way of, is it same as data wrangling, ranging and mangling? Yeah, a sort of things that we are doing with data cleaning, data cleansing. I think if you are concentrating on data analytics, I think you should be familiar with the Python language. Then there is a tool called NLTK package, Natural Language Toolkit Package, NLTK. That is, you can find that with the Python package. You try to use that one. Then you try to familiarize pandas. Familiar. Then data visualization is there. You can try that also. I mean, data, there is huge level of demand is there in data analytics. There is going to be a huge level of opportunities. You can find a job easily if you are good in data analytics, because there are plenty of jobs available in the net. You can search in the internet itself, you can see that opportunities are there for data analytics, opportunities are there for data analytics. So there are plenty of opportunities there. Which is more efficient? Ashwin asked, which is more efficient, AI or NLP? See, AI is a broad thing, artificial intelligence. NLP is a subfield of AI. There are a lot of subfields are there. You may be familiar with the semantic web technologies. Semantic web technology, it's a part of AI. Now, World Wide Web's next generation will be semantic web. Now we have a static HTML pages. There will not be any static web pages in the next generation web. All pages will be readable by the machine. That is the concept of semantic web. If you see any pages in the internet, that will be readable by the machine itself. There is no need for manual intervention. That is the basic objective of semantic web. So that's also a part of AI. So AI is a broad thing. There are a lot of subfields out there, like NLP.
Any more questions?
Yeah, one more question from Martin George Vienna. Is there any degree BTech course in Kerala specializing DSML? I am unemployed. No, there is no recognized course in, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. In Kerala, there is no recognized university course in specializing in machine learning and artificial intelligence. But there are plenty of courses outside Kerala. I think one course is started now, that is MTech course by the government. Now, I think recently the education minister announced a MTech course in artificial intelligence. What is the full form of NLP? So, alias ELDO, natural language processing.